What they're going to deliver to you is wisdom. What they're going to deliver to you right now is experience. What they're going to deliver to you right now is going to allow you to cut your growth curve down in a massive amount of time. Because they have been through it, seasoned, tried, seasoned, and true. And they're in this company because they're a part of taking this thing to a multi-billion-dollar movement. Guys, help me welcome to the stage Ken and Sandy Kelm.
People always ask me, son, what does it take to reach out and touch your dreams? To them I always say, are you hungry? Are you thirsty? Is it a fire that burns you up inside? How bad do you want it? How bad do you need it? Are you eating, sleeping, dreaming with that one thing on your mind? How bad do you want it? How bad do you need it?
Oh my gosh, I've been into events for 28 years, guys, and I have never been as excited as I am this event. This is it. This is it. We have found it. I am so excited to be here. I know you are too, because I know a bunch of us came this weekend really wondering, is this it? Yes, this is it. And I am so honored to be on the stage. I mean, I felt like I was standing on the shoulders of giants this weekend. I've gotten so much wisdom. I've gotten so many notebooks of notes from all these guys. We just want to take a couple of minutes and share our hearts with you guys because we know, we really know, this is it. I have 28 years in the industry, and we left a really good. Our last gig was 18 years, and it was really good for us. But it's nothing like what we've got our hands on now. We are so excited. And I hope that you feel, when you leave this weekend, that you have found the vehicle that will get you to your dreams. And we have heard all weekend long, I kept saying, Ken, they've read my notes. Ken, they've read my notes. They keep saying, it's why. Why are you here? Why? Jeremy said this morning, what is your dream? What is your God-given dream? Because that's what drives this. There are going to be people out there that have this very same opportunity that you have that will not take it, that will not make it. Because there's a little bit left here besides just the 2-minute video. And I love how simple that is. That's why I know this is it. Because we can teach that to anybody. But one thing that we know is, besides the system of the 2-minute video, there is some personal growth that has to take place. And we know that you have got to have a focused on your goal, on your dreams that you have never had before. Because this is an industry where we're all going to run fast. We're going to meet people that say that's a scam. We're going to meet people say that's not going to last. We're going to have the ups and downs that we've all had before in life and industry. So why are you here? What are your dreams? What are your God-given dreams? And I know you've heard it all weekend, but I'm going to have to say it again because that's what drives us. I know some of you know your dreams crystal clear. You know exactly what your dreams are. A lot of you are so busy with life that you really haven't had time to think of your dreams. You may think, I've got to get debt-free. I've got kids that have to go to college. I've got parents that need to go into assisted living and I need more money. Well, you know, those aren't dreams. Those are just life situations. I'm talking about the things that really make your heart flutter, the things that you thought about when you were a kid, the things that are on the other side of those worrisome things. And we all have worrisome things. But those aren't our dreams. Our dreams are on the far side, the land of possibility. So if you're one of those people that came this weekend and said, I just need to be debt-free, that's just a situation, a temporary situation. If you will truly look on the far side, to the land of possibilities, and think about, what was it when I was a kid that used to excite me? What do I dream about if I close my eyes and dream about winning the lottery? Don't tell me you haven't done that. What do I think about when there is no limit to the money that I could have or the time that I could have? That's where your dreams are. And you've got to find those dreams. I'm telling you, Chad and Natita, they were up here, they showed us their dreams last night. You've got to know. Some of you have had your dreams stolen. by well-meaning friends and family and teachers, and they said, you'll never be that. You'll never get to do that. You'll never have that. Guess what, guys? Those dreams can be recovered. Bless their hearts, they don't know what we know, right? So go back and get those dreams. The saddest are, though, those dreams that have died from disappointment. They're dead and buried because some of you had a business or an opportunity and it didn't work out for you. And Jeremy talked about that this morning, when you pour your life and soul into something and you think this is it, and it turns out not to be. And those dreams die and we bury them. But there's a little bit of a memory of them out there. And guess what? Those dreams can be resurrected. This is it. This is the land of resurrection. Those dreams can be resurrected. You've got the vehicle. So don't be afraid. They are God-given dreams. And they're dreams that are way, way bigger than you if you'll embrace them and honor them. I know. We've lived this. We've lived this. But we also know there's greater things to come. And so don't be afraid of that. But there are some strategies to help you clarify your dream and to help you have that dream give you the energy to drive this vehicle. Because this vehicle, like I said, everybody has this opportunity. Not everybody will take it. And it's the dreams that drive it. And so you've got to get clear on your dreams. How many of you did the exercise last night? I didn't get to look around the room, but they didn't tell you that for their health and their well-being and their wealth. They told you that for you. And years in this industry, we have known that. There is power in a dream board. Some of you may call it a vision board. And I don't know how it works. I don't know how that stuff comes to you. It doesn't just come to you, though. I tell you, there's some work behind it. When you get your dreams figured out, and you get them on the dream board, and you see them every day, and you talk about them every day, you make them alive. And Ken and I had dreams just like everybody else did, and we started this industry, our last 18-year run, and we were going to do it a little differently. We put our dreams on our dream board, but we determined that we were going to make those dreams so alive that we could not be denied. And so what we did was, I wanted a horse. I wanted horses. I was always a horse girl. I was the kid that prayed every night after my laid me down to sleep, and God, bring me my horse. and we would take these long trips to my grandmother's house, and I would look out the window, and I saw myself riding along the shoulder of the road on that horse, jumping the fences and swimming the rivers, and he was going 70 miles an hour. But I saw that, and so I had pictures of horses. We were going to get gaited horses. I'm a trail rider, so we were going to buy some Pasafinos when we arrived. And so what we did was we started going to Pasafino farms and looking at the horses, and we studied the pedigrees, and I got to know a lot about that. And I remember one morning, these are memories that I'll never forget. Ken and I went to this farm in Illinois, went out to the yearling filly pasture, and we're going to look at pedigrees. And we would do our business at night, and maybe we had a stay over the next day. So this is what we did in our spare time. And it was an autumn morning, and it was foggy, and all these little fillies were just dancing around, and I'll never forget that. It's so alive. Went to Florida to an old lady's, and I say old lady, but she had imported these horses when she was in the 50s. And we went out with her into the broodmare pasture, and all these broodmares came around her. They were all these different colors, and she knew all their names, and they knew her. And I said, one day I'm going to have that. And Ken wanted land, and how good does that go together? Ken and Sandy, land and horses. So we did a meeting in Fort Wayne, Indiana one night, and of course, we were all jazzed up after the meeting and coffeeed up and everything, so we drove all night long to Central Arkansas and parked up the road from this piece of property that we were looking at, because we were looking for land, and snuck back down the road, and the house was empty that we were looking at. They were cattle. Somebody was running cattle on it, so we snuck up the driveway and went and sat on the back deck of that house and watched the sun come up over the lake, because we knew that was going to be our home. And it didn't work out. We looked at lots of pieces of property in Arkansas and around that area, and we didn't buy any property there. But was that a waste of time? Absolutely not, because every time we did something like that, it strengthened our belief. It went from here to here. And it gave us the passion. When you put power into your dream, when you honor your dreams and you give your dreams power, your dreams give that power back to you as passion. And that's the passion to drive this vehicle through all the muck and the stuff that happens to you along the way. If you've got passion in this vehicle, in this world vehicle, you will not be denied. And so that's where we were. So that's what we did our entire journey. And then we bought a beautiful 100 acres, and I had a whole herd of horses, and I built my dream barn. I knew exactly that barn. I knew exactly way before we ever built it. It was going to have 6 12 by 12 stalls and 12-foot alleyways and hot and cold running water and an air-conditioned tack room. I knew it. I saw it. I was there all the time with it. And then I discovered my destiny lied in those dreams. And you're going to find the same thing. Some of you, if you will honor your dreams and you're going to see them unfold, you're going to find that your destiny is actually inside those dreams. Mine was equine assisted learning. I didn't know anything about it. I had done some horse therapy when I was an educator before, but I had never learned about using horses with kids with, that needed life skills. And so I started getting certified in equine assisted learning. Got to do that on my own dollar. And I didn't have to go nonprofit to do this. Got certified in Bible belief therapy because I believe kids need to know the truth. I had started putting art and tattooing, putting scripture around the barn. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Because kids need to know that kind of stuff. And I can tell you, when you got a kid on the end of a rope of a 1,000-pound animal, they will pay attention to you. They will listen to what you have to say to them. So life was good. And we were living our dream, and it was absolutely fantastic. I needed a covered arena. Yep, we're about to build that. And I wanted my husband with me. I had been getting some murmurings in my heart about working with people with post-traumatic stress disorder, and I kept saying, you would be great at that. But everything was really, really good. And then all of a sudden, everything changed. On the night of January the 3rd, we lived in a 2,000 square foot apartment on the front of the barn. It was a timber frame barn, all wood. It was absolutely glorious. I had my clawfoot bathtub in front of a window that looked over the balcony that looked on out to my pasture. And it was just that we were building we had a huge room in the back that we were turning into a game room, and we put another bathroom in there and another bedroom in there so the people, when people came with their kids, they'd have places to stay. And it was just our dream place. And on the night of January the 3rd, it burned to the ground. And we looked out there, and within an hour, my dreams were ashes. There were no animals in the barn, so no horses in the barn, but I lost all my saddles and all the tack and all my literature and all my lesson plans and all my books and everything that I had dreamed of and worked for. And it was all in ashes. And we kind of backed up and took a breath, and people said, what are you going to do? And we said, we're going to rebuild. And we had insurance, and we knew we had some, we were going to do that, but we nothing was ever going to cover all that we had lost. What are you going to do? We're going to rebuild. So we backed up and bought a camper, and we were moving into a camper and trying to get things straightened out, and all of a sudden, World Global Network stepped into our lives. Whew. When you honor your dreams and you open up your heart to your dreams and you give power to your dreams will give you power. And it gave us the sticking power, and it will also make room for the unimaginable to happen. Our lives have just moved to a whole different plane. You should see my barn now. I've got 6 12 by 12 stalls with 16-foot alleyways, 2 hot and cold wash bays inside, an air-conditioned tack room, a feed room with a walk-in cooler, a classroom with a bathroom and a kitchen, and upstairs there's 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. Is that a barn or what? And it's not even built yet. And I have been in it every night almost. I hear the kids. I smell the horses. I talk to the moms. It's all there. If you'll open your heart and honor your dreams, give your dreams room. They're important, guys. Many, many, many of you will find your destiny in your dreams. They are important. You've got the vehicle. Give the vehicle the passion that it takes to get you there. It's worth it. So this is it, guys. This is it. Believe it. This is it. God bless you and God bless your dreams.
Holy cow. I don't think I've ever been here. I'm a wreck. Admittedly, I am an emotional wreck because everything that I've done, that we have done in this industry, I've been in this industry longer than most of you have been alive. I mean, I knew Methuselah when he was a baby. And we built 2 companies to the highest levels. We've enjoyed a standard of life that most people only dream of. And we thought we were where we were supposed to be, and we were doing everything that we knew how to do. And I'm sitting up here listening to my bride, running through my mind all these incredible speakers we've heard to this point. Holy smokes. You guys have no clue the power that you've heard to this point. And I can tell by your applause, you don't get it. You've heard from the best of the best. And then there's me. You know why they bring me on stage? It's so simple. It's because I'm here to give you some hope. You're going to know by the time this old state trapper, not trooper, trapper. That's what I was, gang. I had chosen that profession because I didn't like people. I dealt with wildlife. I dealt with problem wildlife. If you had a coyote killing your livestock, I was your guy. They don't talk back. Doesn't God have a sense of humor, though? Here's a guy that's naturally introverted, doesn't like to be in crowds, and he puts me in network marketing. That's craziness. But you've seen so much experience on this stage thus far, and you're going to see more. Have you wondered why it's attracting the caliber of people it's attracting? Has that crossed your mind? There's got to be something going on here. And folks, this is a puppy. Wait till it's a full-born Rottweiler, man. I mean, you got that picture? That's where we're headed. And it's going to attract more people. But I want to take a moment, and I want to share with you new people. I want to get into the hearts of those of you who maybe have never pursued this industry in your life. Maybe this is your first rodeo. Maybe you've been with another company or two, and you've never had any success. I want to show you why here in a moment. But I want to back up even further to 36 years ago when I sat in my dad's living room and looked at this industry for the first time. I was in my late 20s. And I had subscribed to a system that I'll bet you every one of you subscribe to. How many of you were taught that in order to be financially successful, the first thing that you had to do was get an education? Well, you'll know by the time I'm done, I didn't subscribe to that one. But you get an education so you can get a good job, career, or profession, so you can work it hard until you're 65 or 70, or forever, and for my generation, because the baby boomers don't get to retire. And one day, they said, you'll be able to retire and enjoy life, and then if you're the average male, after retirement, you live 18 months and die. Man, sign me up for that one. But that's the one I subscribe to. I went out, and with the exception of education, I mean, my bride has, if she would just write her thesis, she'd be a PhD. I mean, she's got a master's plus 30. I've got high school minus 30. If it hadn't been for a girl that always sat on my right, because her last name started with K, her name was Carolyn Klug. And if Carolyn, bless her heart, she got me through every test, because she'd lean left and I'd lean right. Oh, fun times we've had. But that's what I was taught. You get an education and you work really, really hard. And I took off. I ended up coming out of the military in the Vietnam era. And I came home to... By the way, speaking of which, if you're a veteran or you're active duty or you've served, please stand and be recognized. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you. Because it's because of you that I'm able to be right here, right now, in this free country with this moment and with this awesome opportunity. Thank you. But I was taught that if I got that education and if I got that good job and so forth, that one day I could accomplish all the dreams that I had. And I had big dreams. I'll never forget. I had a dream where I wanted to own thousands of acres, and I knew specifically in my mind what it looked like. It was mountainous, it was real rugged, it had creeks running everywhere, it had bluffs, and it specifically had a hardwood and coniferous forest. Pines and oaks, and you know what I mean? Guess where I live today? In the Ouachita National Forest, which is precisely what I just described. It is some of the most rugged country in the whole U.S. In fact, that's the oldest national forest, to my knowledge, in the U.S. And Sandy and I, we've grown that a little acreage just a little bit. It just went to 180-some acres, right in the middle of a 1.6 million acre national forest. I don't have to own it, but I got it. That's the beauty of it. So, but I had these dreams. And I started pursuing these dreams with a job. I was an employee that you would love to have had, because I always went the extra mile. I wasn't too bright because I was salaried. And the more I worked, the less I made per hour. But my normal work week, no kidding, was 80 to 120 hours a week. And I traveled the state of Missouri working with farmers and ranchers that had problems. And I just knew that if I worked hard, I'd climb my little bureaucratic ladder and I'd one day reach those dreams. How many of y'all know that was a pipe dream? But I did that just like you did it. Just like some of you are still attempting to do. To only come to the conclusion about 5 years in that I was never going to reach my dreams. Ever. With that kind of financial vehicle. Have you come to that conclusion? I was about 25, and I started saying things like, you know what, I really don't need that big acreage. You know, this little trailer house lot here will get me by. And I don't really need that big old H2 Hummer because, I mean, that gas hog, why would you want anything like that? And I don't need to hunt in Africa and Canada and Alaska, and I got rabbits right here in Arkansas. And I don't have to, and I don't have to, and I don't have to, and I don't have to. Because what happened was, there was another circle that came into my life. That other circle directly affected this one. And it was about the size of a quarter, this circle. Actually, it really looked about like that, compared to what I wanted. And I tried everything I could to get that circle bigger. I did odd jobs and part-time. In fact, I was at the office one day. I worked with a lot of very highly educated men and women. These were all doctors in wildlife and fisheries management. They were the researchers. I worked out of a research office. And we're sitting at coffee one day, and I'm looking at their lifestyle, and I'm looking at mine. I'm going, what's going on here? I knew they had a bigger paying job, but the job they had couldn't pay for the lifestyle I saw them living. You getting the picture? So I got curious, and I started questioning them. I said, what are you doing where you can live like this on this? And you know what I found out? They had all diversified the same way. So I went home that day, and I told my wife, I said, guess what? I found out how we're going to make more money. And she said, what is it? Well, I was talking to all the guys at the office, and they're all doing it. And she said, well, what is it? And I said, well, it's time for you to get a job. And we all laugh, don't we? But how many of you are dual and triple and quadruple income households today? You see, back in my mom and dad's generation, they didn't leave the house to work. I can remember finally when I was in high school, my mom leaving home to go take a job. See, the way you and I see things today isn't the way it always was. And so I looked at that itty-bitty source of income, and I thought, how can I get it bigger? And I finally realized it's not going to be in a traditional career, business, none of that. I finally got introduced to this industry. And I'd like to tell you I was an overnight success. But that'd be so far from it. It took me 2 years just to make $2,000 a month. And we're looking at the stats I saw you all put out here today, and I'm going, you guys, you need to be in the trenches for a few years. You need to go out there and work really hard just to make a little bit of money, not this obscene stuff I'm seeing. I'm serious. My goodness, what a compensation plan there is. It is so big, it is literally unbelievable. But the fruit's on the tree. I tell people all the time, if you think I'm kidding about what this company's doing, just go to businessforhome.org and you'll see who's hot and who's not. Now, I want to take this a step further, though, because I'm speaking to you brand new people, because you're here probably, where you've shrunk it down. This may be your first rodeo. Because the reason it took me so long to get to the kind of income that Sandy and I enjoy today and have for many, many years, it all evolves down to one little ingredient. And this is the tough one. This is the one people don't want to do. And I can define it in one word. You got to change. The you are today will not make the kind of money you see making in this industry. It won't happen. You have got to change. What do you mean, Ken? Well, if I were to change this whole circle, and I believe I will, here's the income and the dreams that you want, but instead of this being the income, here's the other circle that directs or determines the magnitude of that, and that's PD, personal development. You've heard the stories. How many people do you know have won a lottery and they're multimillionaires one day and 5 years later they're worse off than they were when they started? You want to know why? Because your income will always settle to the point of your personal development. And when they don't match baby cakes, it's going to fall to where your personal development is. You can bank on that one. So what you got to learn to do is on a regular basis increase this circle to the point that it finally matches or exceeds that one. That's why you hear these speakers talk about the audios they listen to, the mentors they have, the books that they read, the events they attend. Have you guys learned anything so far? That's part of your personal development. Don't take yourself out of the formula that will get you what you're really after. And it's really not the money, but I'm using that just to simplify my illustration. It's your dreams. You know, and if you don't know what those dreams are, it's no wonder we flounder, because so many of you are in the position I was 36 years ago where I had dreams. They were so rusty-dusty and so far in the back of my mind, it took a long time for me to get the belief that Ken could have them again. Remember when you were little? Remember when every day you woke up, you wanted to be something else? Some of you wanted to be doctors. Some of you wanted to be firefighters. Some of you wanted to be school teachers. Some of you wanted to be superheroes. Some of you wanted to be firefighters. Some of you wanted to be your job. There was nothing that you couldn't achieve. True or false? And then you get into the work thing that you put all of a sudden. True or false? And then you get into the workaday world, and all of a sudden you're going, I really can't have that. I really can't do that. And then you get into that sad state of justifying why you shouldn't. Oh, we've all been there. I'm here to get you out. I want you out. This world needs you out. They need you dreaming big dreams and doing what it takes to get them. Some of you, you're not going to be diamonds in a week. You're not going to be president millionaires in 6 months. 6 months from now, you might just have made your first sale. Great, let's celebrate that. That would have been me. It took me so long to learn what I needed to learn in the people skill arena, in the personal development arena. And I challenge you, leave here and immerse yourself. Go to your upline that's moving and shaking. Go to these men and women that you've seen on this stage that are in your upline saying, teach me, mentor me, show me what I've got to do to get what you've got. Because you know what? If they can, so can we. That's the way I've seen it forever. Three years ago, I was coming home from a meeting up in Missouri. That's where I was raised. That's where I knew a lot of people. 33 years in this industry with a business that was stagnating, and I couldn't figure out why. I was working my butt off. In most companies, ladies and gentlemen, you probably wouldn't ever build. Because if you weren't putting 50 to 100,000 miles on your car annually, you weren't out there. If you weren't doing multiple meetings per day and week in homes, you weren't making it happen. 33 years I'd done that. Tremendous life, but I was tired. Not physically. And I was driving home. It was 2-something in the morning. I can see it in my mind right now, the very spot I was on the highway on the last stretch, 7 miles from home. Sandy was at home. She wasn't traveling that much anymore just because of our lifestyle. Multiple livestock. I mean, you got to take care of that kind of stuff. And I said, God, get me off the road. I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. Little did I know that shut that business off at that moment. It was amazing to me because for the next 3 years, we still had a multiple 6-figure income. But I couldn't move it forward. I went to my upline. I said, what am I doing wrong? They said, I don't know, just do more. That's it. I don't want to do more anymore. Just do more. I went to our CEO, and they said, you're just going through a season. I thought, well, it sucks. And I'd forgotten that I'd said that. You got to be careful about your words. And then we started praying with our pastors. It was a very simple prayer. Father, show me, close the doors that need to be closed, open the doors that need to be opened, and make it so plain, even I can see it. Three years we struggled trying to keep that moving forward. Oh, I could put some people in because at that point, gang, you're through your friends and family after 30-some years. They ain't no warm, they ain't even a lukewarm, they ain't even a cold market. And I'd meet people, I put to use the 3-foot rule. If you were in 3 foot of me, you got prospected. You did, and I was good at it. I could bring anybody in my business. I really could. But I couldn't move them. Didn't know why. And then all of a sudden, we're homeless. January 3rd, actually thought I'd lost Sandy. That'll give you another perspective. I went back in a burning building to find my wife, and I almost didn't get out. Little did I know she was already out. And I'm wondering, what is going on? Why is this happening? I had poured my heart into that structure. I built it, me and some labor. It was Sandy's design. So much custom stuff in there. There was not a stick of drywall. It was all wood. Gorgeous, gorgeous wood. I love wood. And God's given me a gift to take things I find and create furniture. Just a quirk. Gone. What are you doing? Come on, give me a break. Business is not moving. And I'm driving home from a Home Depot, picked up some supplies. This was early part of February. And an old friend got on my heart. Have you ever had somebody get on your heart? And you know you need to call, right? Boy, if that ever happens, call them. There's something about to change. And I always, in my case, it was always for them. And I've had it happen several times, and not a lot, but several times in my life. And all of a sudden, my old buddy, Leroy and Colette Corsi, thank you, brother, gets on my heart, and I call him up. And I was thinking, because they'd expressed to me at one time a few months earlier that they might want to get back in business with us, with the company that I was with. And I thought, well, you know, maybe this is the time. And I called him up, and I'll never forget it. I could see him grinning through the phone. I said, Leroy, it's Ken. He said, funny you should be calling me at precisely this moment. And the way he said it, I knew what it meant. I was about to get prospected. He said, I just hung up the phone to take your call from this young Oriental kid named Chad that's making $500,000 a month with a tech company. And I said, baloney. He said, no, I can prove it. And I said, well, you're going to have to. I've been around. I've seen the smoke and mirrors. I've heard the BS. I ain't buying that one. Get him on the phone with me. Next day, guess who I'm talking to? A little Malaysian kid making $500,000 a month. And he proved it. But you know what? That wasn't what got me. Wasn't at all. It's the next words out of Chad's mouth that got me. He said, you know what the coolest part is? He said, I've yet to leave my home to do an in-home meeting. And I went, oh, make it so obvious even I can see it. Guess what? I haven't left the ranch in 4 months. And our income is bigger now than it's ever been, and it's growing, and the fun part is Ken and Sandy are excited. We are so passionate about this industry, but we had lost our heart. We were stagnant. And today, I heard Jeremy mention it. Man, I'm sitting on my couch multiple times a day with a green rug behind me. And I'm in Vegas. I was. That's how I promoted this event. It was a reminder and just a subliminal message. Vegas, Vegas. Guess what? It ain't changing because we're coming back here, baby. And this low-tech redneck is now doing Zoom meetings, and I've never done a Zoom in my life. Craziest thing, I challenge you, get off your rusty dusty and get involved. Get involved. And I'll tell you why. Coming from an old dog that's been around the block, there is not an opportunity out there that can even create a shadow to this. It doesn't exist. We are in a time and a place that's never been before. Not in this industry. Well, I shouldn't say that. There were times. You take my first rodeo, Amway Corp. They hit a market where housewives weren't making soap anymore in their bathtubs. They would. That's literally what happened. Where do you think soap operas came from? Y'all didn't know that, did you? Because Procter & Gamble and whomever else, along with Rich DeVos and Jay Van Andel, saw a market trend. and started advertising to the housewives of America who were in home, doing the most important job in the world. So there have been times in this industry where the time and the opportunity matched. Well, guess what? It's happening right now. Right now. I've never seen anything like this. Oh, are there naysayers? Of course. There always has been, there always will be. You'll have well-meaning friends and family tell you, and even work associates or business partners tell you, they ain't gonna last, that's just a trend. Really? Wake up and smell the roses, dude, you're clueless. We are taking this thing around the globe. Here's what I see. I firmly believe this with all my heart, that you are a part of what will soon be the absolute biggest network marketing company ever in the history of the industry. Ever. There's going to be more wealth created on a global perspective ever than ever before. I firmly believe that. I actually think $2 billion by 2020 is a little shy. I really do. I think it's a little shy. And I'm going to get me some of that old man. I haven't been this passionate about anything in a long time. And I want you to know, it feels really good. It really does. So I'm going to leave you with a story I heard many, many years ago. And whoever's next, you better get ready, because I'm not going to use all my time. I'm not going to stretch it out just to fill it. But I heard a story a long time ago about a young man who was looking for the secret to success. And he started reading, he started doing his due diligence, he started talking to people, and he finally realized it boiled down to an old sage in a faraway land that knew the secret to success. So he started a long journey to seek this sage out. And every time he went to where he'd last heard he was, keeping in mind, gang, they didn't have cell phones. They didn't have any form of communication but get there by foot or whatever means you could get there to get your answer. So this young man went on this journey. And he finally caught up with this old sage. And he walked up to him and he said, Sir, I know you know the secret to success. Would you please tell me? I've come from a faraway land just to hear it. And that old man with those steel blue-gray eyes looked at that young man and turned and walked away. This young whippersnapper, he's looking at him going, what? I have traveled hundreds of miles. I have fought wild animals. I've gone through so much to get to you and ask you that question, and you have the audacity to turn and walk away? And the young man almost gave up. He almost walked away. He said, no, no, I'm going to pursue it. And he chased him down the road. And he walked up to him again. He said, Sir, please, you don't understand. I'll do whatever it takes if you'll just tell me the secret to success. That old man, he turned to him, squared his shoulders up with him, looked deep into him, and turned and walked away. By now, this kid's thinking, this guy's senile or something wrong with him. Why won't he share this with me? I've poured my heart out to him. I told him I would do whatever it would take. And he almost went home. He almost gave up. He said, no, I'm going to give it one last shot. About that time, the old man was fording the river. And he chases him. He enters the river. And he meets him about midstream at about waist-deep water. And he said, sir, please, you don't understand. I'll be your protege. Just help me. Just give me some direction. Just give me a word. Tell me what I need to do to become successful. Tell me the secret to success. The old man faced him again and squared off. And he placed his hands on his shoulders and looked deep into his face and slowly pushed him down. The kid's thinking, well, that's cool. I don't know what he's up to, but I'll go along. And he pushes him. And he pushes him. And the young man's thinking, what is going on here? And the old man just holds him. And by now, the young kid, he's starting to lose, he needs some air. And he starts to struggle. And the more he struggles, the more that old man's grips his shoulders harder and harder. And the kid's starting to fight, and he's starting to fight, and he's struggling, and he's holding him down. And finally, when he's about to expire, literally, the old man lets him up. What are you trying to do to me? And the old man said, what were you thinking about while you were down there? He said, I have to have air. Give me air. And the old man looked at him with all the compassion, with those steel blue-gray eyes. And he said, son, when you want your dreams as bad as you wanted that breath of air, you won't be denied. Get a dream worth fighting for.
People always ask me, son, what does it take to reach out and touch your dreams? To them I always say, are you hungry? Are you thirsty?
Hey everybody, how you